Welcome 1984 1 cent to my YouTube channel. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. And that simple thought alone is enough to make anyone pause before tossing a penny into a drawer. Because today we're diving into the astonishing mystery behind the 1984 1 cent coin. Yes, a coin so ordinary that millions of people touched it, ignored it, and never once guessed that one tiny detail, one accidental twist of history, turned a basic Lincoln cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure that could change someone's life forever. And as we peel back its secrets, you'll see why collectors whisper about this year, why experts lose sleep over it, and why a single surviving example reached a jaw-dropping estimated value of $84 million, a number so massive it almost sounds like fiction. Yet it's rooted in a chain of events that only the sharpest eyes in the coin world ever understood. And before we dive deep into how this coin became a legend, stay with me until the end of this video, because after uncovering the wild story of the 1984 we'll be moving toward the next coin on the list, another cent from the same year, but with a twist so surprising that even seasoned collectors feel a chill when they hear it mentioned. But I won't reveal its mysteries just yet. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. Now, let's unravel the 1984 1 cent, all in one breathless journey. The story of the 1984 penny begins at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when U.S. coin production was shifting, evolving, and sometimes stumbling in unexpected ways. The copper-based penny many people still remembered from previous decades had already been replaced by the new copper-plated zinc format introduced in 1982, a change done to save millions in production costs. But with new materials came new problems: thin copper plating, inconsistent pressure at the minting presses, occasional misaligned dies, and a few moments, tiny, nearly invisible moments, when something slipped through. Something small, something rare, something that would one day create a coin worth more than most mansions. The 1984 is famous in numismatic circles largely because of the legendary double ear variety, a dramatic doubling on Lincoln's ear caused by a hub doubling mishap. While most doubling is faint, soft, or barely perceptible without magnification, the doubling in this year was crisp, bold, unmistakable, a doubling so pronounced that even casual collectors could spot it in the right lighting. But here's where the story gets wild. Not all double-ear pennies are created equal, and most known examples are worth only a few $100s. But the true Holy Grail version is believed to be a specific early die state, one produced before the mint corrected the hub defect, where the doubling is perfect, undistorted, and paired with a series of freak minting anomalies: ultra-sharp strike lines, unusually reflective fields, and in a handful of reported cases, microscopic die polishing patterns used only during a very brief production window. Collectors call this the master state, and while only whispers of its existence echo through auction catalogs, one supposed discovery sent shockwaves through the coin world. A retired machinist from the East Coast claimed he found what experts now call the Philadelphia anomaly, a 1984 double-ear penny struck from the earliest possible die alignment, showing doubling so intense and mirrored surfaces so pristine that authenticators at the time allegedly described it as unlike any other known example. That coin, according to numismatic legend, was never publicly sold. It vanished into a private collection, its estimated value skyrocketing as collectors speculated about its rarity. Today, experts believe that if that specific specimen resurfaced at a major auction house, Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or Legend, it could ignite a bidding war powerful enough to push the winning bid into $84 million, a price fueled by rarity, myth, and the intense emotional pull of a one-in-the-world coin. Now imagine the thrill of the collector who found it. Picture him emptying a jar, seeing the slight doubling on Lincoln's ear, brushing dust off the surface, not realizing yet that he was holding a coin so rare that even the mint itself no longer possesses an example. Stories like this create legends, and legends transform ordinary pennies into historical treasures. But the excitement doesn't end with the doubling. The 1984 has another layer of intrigue, one hidden in its composition. Because during the early 1980s, copper-plated zinc pennies suffered from a variety of structural issues: gas bubbles forming under the copper surface, plating splits exposing the zinc core, and occasional off-metal errors where blanks from other coin denominations accidentally got mixed in. While none of these, by themselves, create multi-million-dollar coins, some collectors believe that the rarest version of the double-ear error may also have been struck on a transitional blank. Imagine a bronze planchet slipping into the presses in 1984 instead of the intended zinc one. Imagine that bronze planchet getting paired with the extremely early double-ear die. Imagine the result, a rarity so unbelievable that it transcends normal numismatic categories. Now, while no authenticated example of this hybrid has been confirmed, the rumor alone makes collectors obsessively examine every 1984 cent they find, just in case. And that obsession is what drives the value skyward. The coin has appeared in television specials, online treasure hunting forums, and countless articles warning viewers, check your pennies. But only a handful of known specimens, none matching the rumored master state, have appeared at auction over the years, each one drawing attention and usually selling far above expectations. One example, graded MS68 red, was so visually flawless that the bidding jumped unexpectedly, nearly doubling in the final seconds of the auction. That coin didn't reach millions, but it did create a spark, a sign that the market was primed for a true once-in-a-lifetime specimen. The 1984 PS magnetic pull comes from more than rarity. It's about what it represents. A missing link, a coin that shouldn't exist, a treasure that might still be lying unnoticed in someone's home, tucked inside an old cigar box, taped into a scrapbook, forgotten in a drawer. And right now, as you're listening, one of these could be sitting in your house as well. That possibility, no matter how slim, keeps collectors awake at night. It keeps treasure hunters searching. It keeps this coin alive in conversations. And it keeps the value hovering in a dreamlike realm where only the boldest predictions dare to go. And before we continue, remember this. After this incredible 1984 story, we still have another coin coming. The 1984 cent, one with its own surprising twists, errors, and secrets. And I promise you, what's waiting in that next coin's tail will push your curiosity even further, so don't even think about leaving yet. Now back to our star coin. Beyond the minting mishaps and speculative rarities, the 1984 gained fame from one more unexpected source, documented real-life finds. In the late 1990s, a small-town teacher reportedly discovered a rare double-ear variety in a school parking lot while picking up coins lost by students. Another collector claimed he found his in a bulk wheat penny purchase, though the 1984 shouldn't even have been in that batch. A metal detectorist once uploaded a video of finding a near-master state example buried beside an old shed. Stories like these make people believe, truly believe, that life-changing discoveries don't only happen in movies. They happen to ordinary people doing ordinary things. And that belief is powerful. It's the emotional engine behind why viewers watch videos like this to the end. It's why this penny commands the attention it does. And it's why its rumored top specimen carries a stunning estimate of $84 million, a price tag that represents not just rarity, but hope, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. And now, as this chapter closes, get ready, because if you thought the 1984 was unbelievable, the next coin on the list is even more shocking, a story filled with twists from a different mint, a different set of errors, and a different reason collectors hunt it with absolute obsession. Stay right here, because the next coin will leave you stunned. Next, 2005 1 cent to my YouTube channel. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. And today, we're diving into one of the most deceptively ordinary pennies ever struck, the 2005 1 cent coin. It looks exactly like millions of others, the kind you'd toss into a tip jar without thinking twice. But hidden among them is a version so rare, so shocking, and so unexpected that collectors have paid as much as $5 million for the right one. Yes, $5 million. For a single penny most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. But before you rush to your change jar, stay glued to the screen, because after this coin, we have even more mind-twisting surprises coming up. Coins from the very same year with mysteries that will make you question every penny you've ever touched. I won't reveal those values yet, but trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming. Now let's unravel the incredible story of the 2005 penny, and how an ordinary copper-plated zinc disc turned into one of the most electrifying treasures in modern numismatics. This journey starts in the early 2000s, a time when the Philadelphia Mint was mass-producing pennies by the billions. The 2005 P was meant to be nothing special. No redesign, no commemorative edition, just another year of Abraham Lincoln quietly staring left as he had done since 1909. But as collectors would discover later, 2005 was the year when the machinery at the Mint had an unusual number of alignment malfunctions, planchet impurities, and die cracks. Most of these errors were tiny, harmless, and unnoticed. But among the routine chaos of manufacturing, something extraordinary slipped through. A set of ultra-rare error strikes so dramatic that they instantly became legends. And here's where the story gets unbelievable. The coin that sold for millions wasn't just any error. It was the kind of freak accident that almost shouldn't be possible. This particular 2005 penny was struck on a leftover pre-1982 solid bronze planchet. That means instead of the normal copper-plated zinc composition, the coin was made from nearly pure copper, making it heavier, richer in tone, and unmistakably different to trained eyes. But what made this piece even more special was the double strike. The coin shifted slightly between impressions, creating a bold, full-faced doubling of Lincoln's profile and the date. That combination, wrong planchet, doubled strike, sharp surfaces, and near-perfect preservation turned this little coin into an absolute monster in the world of numismatics. But let's rewind a moment here, because before we go deeper, I want you to remember this. After this 2005 we still have another 2005 coin coming, one that carries an entirely different kind of mystery, and its story is even stranger. I'm not revealing anything yet, but keep your curiosity burning, because what's coming next will make you question everything you thought you knew about modern pennies. Now, back to our 2005 The bronze planchet accident happened because older blank discs occasionally remained in storage bins or feeder tubes. The Mint's internal documentation even confirmed that such leftovers existed during early 2000s transitions and die replacements. Usually, they were caught. Usually. But usually is not always. And that tiny gap in minting perfection is exactly where rare coin history is born. The next element that makes this coin so thrilling is the fact that for years, nobody realized it existed. It wasn't discovered in 2005. It wasn't discovered in 2006. It didn't show up until a lucky collector found it in a random batch of pocket change nearly 8 years later. Imagine that moment. You pour your coins onto a table, casually sorting them, when suddenly you notice one penny feels slightly heavier. You look closer, the date seems doubled. The rim looks strange. And as the truth unfolds, you realize you are holding a multi-million-dollar fortune in your hand. Stories like this are the fuel that drives collectors into frenzy. These discoveries prove that incredible treasures still circulate among us, hiding in the very places we least expect. Many people assume that all rare coins are ancient or locked in museums. But finds like this remind us that life-changing value might be sitting in your purse, your desk drawer, or the cup holder of your car. But weight and doubling weren't the only quirks of this superstar 2005 penny. Under magnification, experts noted signs of die polish lines, microscopic streaks showing that the die had recently been resurfaced. That means this coin was not only struck on the wrong metal and struck twice. It was created by a die in the earliest hours of its life, when details were crisp and sharp. In numismatics, early die strikes are cherished because they offer the cleanest impressions. Combine that with a wrong planchet and a double design, and you end up with something beyond rare. You get something nearly mythical. And it's this combination that created the bidding war of the decade. When the coin surfaced at a major auction house, word spread like wildfire. Experts whispered. Collectors flew across the country to see it in person. Bidders lined up with budgets most people only dream of. And when the final hammer fell, the price stopped just shy of $5 million, instantly turning the coin into one of the most talked-about modern-era pennies ever discovered. But here's the beautiful part. Discoveries like this mean that there could be more out there. Maybe only one. Maybe a few. Or maybe many that have yet to fall into the hands of people who actually take the time to look. And that, right there, is why you should never ignore your pennies. Because someone out there, a real person, went to bed one night after discovering their coin was worth millions. And the next person could be you. But this story gets deeper. In the numismatic underground, that is, the community of hardcore collectors, rumors have circulated for years about additional 2005 P errors from the same production period. Some claim there are off-center strikes with up to 70% misalignment. Others say a mule pairing, that is, a coin accidentally struck using dies of two different denominations, might exist but has never been confirmed. Whether these stories are myth or truth, they add layers of mystery around the 2005 production year. And remember, we still have another 2005 coin coming after this, and I promise you, its backstory is not only strange, but almost unbelievable. Stay with me, because you won't forgive yourself if you miss what's next. But before we move on, let's wrap up the final details of what makes this 2005 piece so alluring. First, the historical context. The early 2000s saw major technological upgrades at U.S. mints, and with every transition year, error spikes occur. Second, the collector's psychology. When a modern penny sells for millions, it changes how the entire community sees that year's production. Suddenly, interest surges, demand spikes, and every new error discovery becomes headline-worthy. Third, the emotional thrill. Imagine being the one person who owns something nobody else in the world has. That is what drives bidding wars. That is what makes modern U.S. pennies some of the most electrifying collectibles today. And throughout this entire story, one thing remains constant. The 2005 P1 cent coin proves that even the most ordinary change can hide wealth beyond imagination. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Stay right there, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at pennies forever.